Hello everybody and welcome to another stream in the AOR PC GT3 Elite League on Project Cars. It is round 5 of 10 of this season. We're nearly at the halfway point, and this week we are at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya in Spain. As we're going to skip out to the race view, it is already dark here. The headlights are on for the GT3 cars that will be battling it out currently in qualifying. And as usual, I am Fizzy, and joining me in the commentary box is Yogi.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another stream. This is going to be certainly an interesting track for the guys to be racing around. I don't think we've seen them race here in the night before, so that'll be a new interesting element there. And of course Catalunya is quite difficult on the tyres as well, so we probably should see a pit stop, and we could probably talk a little bit more about tyres in the moment. But yeah, qualifying session, we've got just over 6 minutes to go remaining.
As we have about 5 minutes left, a bit over 5 minutes left of the qualifying session at the moment, and look at that! Bam Nova bamming in a 141.1 at the top of the sheet. Oh, when I said that, I was going to say, oh, there's a massive 0.5 of a second gap, and then Chaff immediately goes and reduces that to about 300, okay? So, okay, so
Yep.
I think it's going to be a pretty similar story with the two championship contenders, Bam and Charf, Nova and Charf even, coming into this race equal in points at the top after 4 rounds. They are so close again.
Yep, and the two guys have actually gone and smashed the previous record from Season 5. That was previously set by Kaki with a 141.836, and that was in the McLaren MP412C GT3 car. And actually, all of the top 4 currently in qualifying have gone quicker than that time. That would be
Wow.
Bam Nova currently in pole, Chaff second, Godfather a shift in third, and Sula in 4th position. So, yeah, the guys are certainly getting quicker as each season goes on.
So I haven't really been looking at how Chaff has been getting on this lap, to be honest, because I was trying to retweet the tweet you did a moment ago. But in any case, let's go back to the game, and we can see Chaff now in the final sector of the lap, and he's definitely pushing hard, using all of the track in this very technical third sector. Oh, he's going very slow though, actually, into the chicane. I think he might have aborted this one. Remains to be seen. And will he have time to start another lap though? Because, oh no, I don't think he will. I don't think he will. Oh, and he's gone back to the pits, I think. Unless that's just my camera. And it is actually my camera.
He's still on track.
He's still on track, but I think he crossed the line with just under. Yeah, now he's gone back to the pits. Crossed the line with just under 140. So that wouldn't have been enough time just about to set another lap. So, top 4, top 5. Top 5 all in the pits. Hideaki though coming down the main straight to try and set a lap. He's currently P6 in this session. He improves to 41.9, becomes the 6th driver to get into the 41s, but it doesn't promote him any further spots. Scrolling down the list of drivers, 10 seconds to go in the session, everyone seems to be done. So might as well just bring up the scoreboard there and conclude with the fact that Nova will be on pole by 24 thousandths of a second over C-Charv. So Nova gets the bonus point and therefore takes the lead of the championship for now. Godfather shifts though, another impressive qualifying. Then Sula, Gronstra, who is back on the grid actually, forgot to mention that earlier. Hideaki, Keller, Clausen, Jeff and Ratrag in the top 10. Rilla, Biltis, Hetarion, Andrex, Brandrus, Gibbs and Jamai rounding off the 17-man grid again for this Catalunya race.
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, there's a couple of drivers that seem to be slightly out of position. Hopefully they can get themselves shuffled and reorganised into the right sides of the track. But drivers are mostly forming up now, and we'll be getting underway very, very shortly as they come onto the start-finish straight for the actual beginning of this race.
Yep, lovely, colourful field as always, even though the darkness makes it slightly more difficult than usual to see all the colours. Some lighting on this circuit, but not too much in certain areas. But obviously the headlights of these cars should generate enough light for these drivers to see what they're doing, you would hope. As now the camera is being interesting for me as per usual. but we can just about spot Nova at the top of the screen, and here we go. He has launched his car away and has got an almighty jump, and Godfather Shift has gone straight up to second. Charf has completely not reacted quickly at all to Nova going there. He's dropped 2 positions down into turn 1 before they've even reached it. Charf is down to 4th position with Godfather Shift and Sula both dropping ahead. Sula, of course, Nova's teammate, so he will surely be trying to keep Charf behind to help him out. And behind 4th, there is a huge gap to Grunstra, who has managed to keep that 5th place position, and then behind him a lot of 2 wides going on into turn 4.
Yep, Jeff ran out a little bit wide coming through turns. Oh, there's a couple of more drivers actually going off wide there on the exit into the gravel as well. So hopefully I can pick those 2
Gibbs and Brandress, I think. 2 Aston Martins going off.
Possibly, yes. I think it may have been those 2. But yeah, Jeff ran wide initially on the exit of turn 1. I think he may have been shoved out wide a little bit and was a little bit cautious coming out on track, but that kind of backed everyone else up, as he would have had a slowdown penalty unless he managed to avoid doing that. Oh, there's a spinner in the background there as well. That will be Jam Mai in the SLS. It looks like he's managed to avoid making contact with the wall and he's rejoining the circuit now, but that's going to drop them well down the field. And something that I may actually point out now, which is spotted right at the very beginning of the lap, I believe, just need to double check who it was. It was Sula, yeah, getting the jump on Chaff and actually passing before the start finish line. They were both in the same train of cars together, and Sula may actually end up getting a potential penalty for that, as you're not allowed to overtake the car directly in front of you before you actually cross that start finish line.
That is a good spot there, Yorkie. Yeah, a bit to see what comes of that. Yeah, that is definitely something that definitely hasn't benefited Charf at all, if Sula did do that, because he did definitely gain from it, although Charf must have had a slow reaction himself though, because Godfather Shift also managed to get ahead. So I think it's both a mix of Sula maybe going too quick and also Charf going a bit too slow for what he would have liked. But either way, Sula is now ahead of him, and that is the situation we have are faced with at the moment. Sula defending from the man who is the main rival for Nova in the championship, and he's definitely doing his teammate a big favor here the longer he can keep Chaff behind throughout this race.
Yep, I think Chaff kind of disadvantaged himself right at the start anyway. He seemed to be slightly ahead of Nova, and obviously it would have been unsighted. The second place is a little bit more difficult because you kind of have to watch over to the guy in front, whereas third, well, first is obviously the ideal spot, but third is also a pretty good spot. So Godfather Shift would have been able to see Nova directly in front of him and reacted straight away. Godfather Shift did exactly that as well and got a decent start. Chaff was a little bit slow. Sula was in a pretty good position to react as well, and yeah, just kind of did manage to jump himself up into third, but it'll be interesting to see what comes of that. He's taken an awful lot of curb on the inside of the chicane there as well. Haven't really been able to see too much of the other guys. Chaff looked to be relatively clean, and Godfather Shift did mostly, although was all 4 wheels over the white lines at some point. But Sula is now looking to go a little bit defensive as Chaff is closing up in the slipstream. Chaff taking a look round the outside of Sula, coming into the first turn, getting very close. I think there may have been a very tiny little bit of contact, but for the moment, Sula holding on to that third position.
Pulled a gap. There's a battle going on for 9th, 10th and 11th. I think camera wasn't really too helpful through this start of sector 3, but let's see. Brillo's 9th, Andrex 10th, and Ratrug fending off F-Mate there, I think, maybe, for 11th position. Ratrug's dropped 1 from where he qualified in that Audi, which is nice to see on the grid, but he's managed to not to drop any further on this particular lap, and going a little bit further back, Keller all the way down in 13th. That's way lower than he usually is. Hatari on 14th, Brandress 15th, and Gibbs in 16th, trying to recover from the lap 1 contact he had. Yeah, someone who definitely has been alongside another car very recently though is Charf, because he has made the pass on Sula for P3. And Sula trying to fight back there potentially, getting the slipstream on the run down to turn 1 and forcing Chaff to go defensive. Breaking a lot later as well. Can Sula pull off the move that Chaff wasn't able to earlier? And wow, he's managed to keep side by side through the first corner, through the second corner, and now The inside line though for Charv will help him, and I think I saw Gronstra off in the background. Gronstra from P5 has spun into the tires on the exit of turn 2 and is stationary there. Front end damage for him. I wonder if that is a genuine mistake or if he's got some kind of technical problem, because he doesn't seem to be moving whatsoever out of these tires. So he's going to drop all the way to the back of the field. Only Jam Mai behind him at the moment, but he at least is still moving. Gronstra's headlights at least went back on now. But yeah, Gronstra's race seemed to be all but over, unfortunately, after that mistake.
Someone else who has gained a position as well on track, not through the incident that we saw there with Gronstra, whatever happened to him, was Andrex and Ratrug. They've now traded places. Andrex is now up into P8, yep. I believe. No, P9.
No, but Keller just passed Mate as well for a P11, so Mate is dropping back for whatever reason. Yeah, Sula doing a good job at the moment to keep pace with him, and Charv has a couple of seconds now to close on Godfather's shift if he wants to get up to second, and never mind first, because Nova is another further couple of seconds ahead of him. So Nova definitely has had a start to the race that he could have just dreamt of here. And oh, an update on Hideaki actually. Yeah, I was actually wondering why we haven't seen anything from Hideaki. So we dropped a car from the session. Hideaki, who has had such a great start to the season, unfortunately had his computer deciding to restart itself a minute before the race started. That's unfortunate, and unfortunately means that Hideaki will not be racing today. What do you see? Oh yeah, I see it.
Swapping positions. Yep, D-Cutter made a pretty late lunge down the inside of Ratrug, coming into that hairpin there. Ratrug did manage to see him coming. The three of them were fairly close to... Oh, sorry, the two of them were fairly close to the back of Andrex, creating quite a nice close train. But yeah, Ratrug saw D-Keller coming, gave him the space on the inside, and D-Keller has moved himself up into 10th position. Though Ratrug is very, very close coming out the exit of the final turn. You have pretty good slipstream coming down here. Obviously, be picking up a slight slipstream from Andrex in front, and he may actually be able to use that to try and make a lunge coming down in towards turn 1. Is he going to have a look to the inside? No, for the moment, he's just going to settle in underneath that rear wing, and he's probably just going to try and follow D-Keller, close up onto the back of Andrex, and hopefully see if he can potentially make his way through and try and gain some positions.
Decent run on Andrex, going for the move to the inside. Oh, we thought about it very much there. Kind of half attacking, half defending there is Keller into the hairpin, but still no position changes on that occasion. Straight, and look how close they are. Which car, does the Mercedes, the Rough, or the Audi have the best straight line speed? It looks like the Audi's got a bit of an edge, but he was forced to back out there as Keller also decided to move to the inside. Well, could have potentially been a 3-wide moment, but Keller instead has gone on the attack on Andrex, and Andrex ran a little bit too deep actually, maybe got scared off the racing line a little bit, and that has dropped Andrex down into 10th position. Keller making up another move, and has a couple of seconds now to the next car, which he'll be looking to catch in the next couple of laps, I would imagine.
Behind D-Keller, but now he's got a pretty good run coming down towards this hairpin. Andrex defending the inside though, forcing Ratrug to go around the outside. Oh, nice little switch back there between the two. There's a tiny little bit of contact. F-Mate is now right up underneath these guys as well. F-Mate is actually going to benefit from that. Ratrug dropping down into 12th place, and F-Mate moving up into 11th. But this has also brought Hitharion in the Bentley in 13th place as well, right up onto the back, and now made a rather nice little four-way train for this 10th position that the guys are fighting over at the moment.
Indeed. Let's look on over the bumper. You can see the headlights lighting up the rear of F-Mate ahead of Ratrug, and the Audi seems to have decent straight line speed, getting some slipstream as well, and move to the inside on the Ratrug coming into turn 1. Will he go for a double move on Andrex, or will he settle for just the one? Andrex leaving a bit of room on the exit there, but experience driving for him, just enough to still carry good enough speed through there to not be attacked, but on the inside through turn 3, I guess. Ratrug has got a good run. 3. Now looking to the inside of 4, So long right-hander coming up, braking a little bit later is Ratrug. The camera will hopefully switch in just a moment, and there we go. Ratrug, oh, they're still side by side actually. They go to the opposite side. So Andrex has gone for the switch back through turn 4. A little bit of door banging there through 5, and Ratrug with a slightly better exit. Can Andrex hold on with the outside line for the next corner? Mate trying to take advantage as well, and Andrex straight away, and Andrex nearly breaking into the back of Ratrug through the high-speed chicane. But there we go, Ratrug back into the top 10, and Andrex once again dropping a position, but I don't think he has given up on this just yet. Brillo
has rejoined the track, and he's now dropped down into 13th. I believe he was either in 9th or 8th position beforehand. I think it was just behind Biltis, right. But unfortunately he's made a mistake coming into
with the Tharion nearly driving into the pit wall back there. That was interesting. I think he just lost it out of the chicane a little bit. Lost the rear end and nearly ended up in the pit wall, but he managed to save it to avoid the damage to his car. Another one who has been off the track though somewhere is Keller, because we mentioned he was right behind Biltis only a couple of laps ago. He's down back to 9th position behind Ratrug again, who's gone up to 8th. So, and Biltis is now about 5, 6, 7 seconds up the road. So yeah, the Keller, after closing that gap throughout the last few laps, has now dropped it all again and has to do the hard work all over again.
It'll be interesting to find out what's going on with the tyres with a number of guys, and just as I say that, Ratrug is coming very, very much under threat from D. Keller, as D. Keller's got the inside coming through the long turn 12, and D. Keller has now managed to regain this position and retake 8th place, but Ratrug doesn't look to be going down without a fight, and is very, very close as they come through the final chicane, and now actually into the final turn and onto the start-finish straight. Will we have the straight line speed that he has had on previous laps to try and potentially make a move down the inside, or will he just follow him through? For the moment, he's got that slipstream. He is closing up. D. Keller actually going a little bit defensive there as they come down on the approach towards turn 1, but Ratrug not really threatening him too much.
Indeed. So Keller once again having to fight back up the field, and he's doing a good job. Andrex under threat from F-Mate, and they're going side by side through turn 5 here, I believe. But F-Mate running too wide on the exit, getting hard on the curb, which didn't give him much traction by the looks of it. Had to, well, his car definitely looks very stable, unstable even, going over there. So he lost all the speed that he would have needed to pull off that, what would have been a really impressive round the outside overtake. But he will get another opportunity here, potentially down into the hairpin. Andrex going defensive now in the Mercedes AMG car, defending from the roof. Will he go around the outside? Will he go for a cutback? He kind of doesn't either. Does have mate, so he's going to just follow Andrex through the final sector here. The long right-hander. But at the moment, Godfather Shift doing a superb job to keep the pace in that BMW Z4. And again on the previous lap, he was just under 1/10 of a second quicker than Charv. So yeah, it's going to be it's going to be a really, really tough task for Charv to close this gap, I think.
Yep, and even trying to close the gap on Nova is going to be really difficult, as both of them at the moment were 9/10 of a second slower than Nova. Godfather Shift is coming up this line.
Oh no! I thought. What in on earth is going on here? I thought F-Mate was going to pull over lovely around the outside move on Andrex through the hairpin, and then he lost it on the exit, and I thought it was all over for him. But Andrex decided to spin it himself, so Andrex now is down into 11th. He only dropped the position to F-Mate though. He managed to get back on track relatively efficiently there after going going around, yeah, that has ended the battle between Mate and Andrex for the time being. Hethario now right behind. Andrex will be keeping him company maybe for a little bit. But yeah, that was definitely an interesting way for Mate to get past Andrex there into 10th position. And
Papan generally tends to be, I think he's a relatively good driver on his tyres. I'm not too sure about Biltis. We haven't actually spoken to Biltis this season, so it'd be quite good if he does manage to continue with his good form so far in this race. And
I just saw the timings. Charf is ahead of Godfather Shift all of a sudden. It literally happened right now, and it's already a second and a half between them. So yeah, I think Godfather Shift, he must have made a mistake there because Choff a moment ago was nowhere near close enough to make a move, but yes, suddenly they have swapped around, so Godfather Shift has had a problem somewhere that has dropped him a couple of seconds, and Charf now up to second place, very, very crucial for the championship potentially. You know, the deficit to Nova, if he stays like this, only 4 points compared to 7 as it would have been if he had stayed in third place. But yeah, unfortunate for Godfather Shift, and Sul as well, looking quite squirmy back there. There has been a swap around.
Sul is still out, so is Chaff, and Nova's still out as well. So Godfather Shift seems to be the first person to be making their pit stop, and they're doing that on lap 20. So a couple of laps before. Yes, he's on lap 20. He hasn't crossed the start-finish line yet. He's on lap 21.
Yeah, so a little bit before the halfway mark here for Godfather Shift. Obviously, it's going to drop quite a few positions now, but you'd expect that if a Z4 has to make a pit stop for new tires, then you'd imagine that most, if not all, of the other cars will have to as well.
So Charles making his pit stop now on lap 22 effectively, so pretty much bang on the halfway mark. It'll be interesting to see how the tyres actually hold out later on in the race as well in the cooler conditions. Maybe they'll fare slightly better, but yeah, obviously pretty tough for these drivers. A number of them basically having to cling on for the last couple of laps until their pit stop. Chuff now coming out of the pit lane, and he looks like he'll be rejoining the track. Very, very close to Godfather Shift. Godfather Shift is coming towards him as they come into the braking zone, and Godfather Shift, I think, will be only just a couple of car lengths between Chaff as they come out of the first sequence of turns and into turn 3.
Andrex coming out of the pits now in 11th position. F-Mate as well, emerging out of the pit lane in 12th, so he has dropped a lot of time to Andrex. F-Mate has dropped a lot of time to Andrex for whatever reason. They were obviously very close before. Mate was even ahead of Andrex last time we saw them. So, yeah. Maybe the pit crew has dropped the wheel nut there? Let's see now on the battle. Keller trying to... well, he needs a good exit, really, out of the chicane if he wants to make the move and then get a nice line through the final corner. I'm not sure if there's a... I assume there's a lift in these cars through the final corner, Yorkie?
Very slight, possibly to about 80% throttle. It entirely depends on your line, but it looks like both drivers have got a pretty good line, and now Biltis actually moving to the inside, going defensive this time as they come towards the first turn. DK are going to try go around the outside. Ooh. Looks like the two of them have done that very, very nicely without contact. Is Biltis still there? Lingering on the inside? Is DK having to go the long way around through turn 3? Surely Biltis is going to have the advantage coming into the next turn as well, and is actually ever so very slightly ahead. But D-Killer is going to be later on the brakes, trying to send it around the outside, the long way round. Two of them side by side still, just as we were hoping for. But D-Killer's got the inside line for this one. Surely this will be the move done and dusted, unless Biltis can perform a bit of a switchback, which he isn't quite able to do. And instead is going to settle in behind D. Keller. Slight flash of the lights there from Biltis, I think. Not too sure whether that is in frustration or whether he was saying good driving, fair play, and away you go. But yeah, D. Keller, after a very exciting first sector, has managed to slot himself up into 7th position.
Yeah, I hope there was a flash of lights of respect there to tell him, well done, mate. You did a good move there, because that was some fantastic racing between the two of them. Biltis did everything he could there to try and defend from Keller, but in the end, Keller just about got the upper hand.
Biltis and D. Keller are relatively close. As we see Jammai moving well out of the way there.
And Jeff has lost it at the hairpin. And he's been well off the track onto the grass, and he has dropped the position to Claessens again. So just caught the end of that. That must have been a self-inflicted spin there through the hairpin, just losing the car. Whether I was on the brakes or on the throttle or on the turn-in, I have no clue, but either way, the Mercedes SLS giving away too much grip, I guess we can say. But of course, connection issues in online racing, that is just a thing that sometimes can't be prevented. Maybe another thing that can't be prevented is Jeff getting passed by Papan, or Keller even, who pulled off an almighty dive bump into the hairpin there. I didn't think he was going to be close enough to make that overtake, but out of nowhere he just dived it up the inside of Jeff and up to 6th place here. Papan to match his best result of the season so far that he got in the opener at Monza, if he can keep on to this. But I would think, though, with the pace that Papanis showed throughout his race, he might even be thinking of Claessen's a couple of seconds ahead and try to close the gap on him. Trying to hold on from Ratrag, who's getting very, very close now through the final corner. Not quite been able to carry as much speed as McLaren through that one, but we've seen earlier in the race that Ratrag in the Audi has got a really, really solid speed down this main straight with a slipstream now as well. He definitely will have a run coming into turn 1. Can he get late enough even on the brakes? He definitely has his car slightly on the inside, but we've seen built his whole hang it side by side here before, but this time Ratrag is able to make the move on Built much more efficiently than Keller was earlier in the race, when of course they had that almighty side-by-side scrap through the whole first and even a part of the second sector. But this time Ratrag straight through on the brakes and up into 8th place, which in his second race in the league would be an improvement on the 9th place finish he had in his debut last week. Let's see how much they lift through here. Definitely a bit of a dab on the brake and a lift through turn 9, and look at the run that Keller now is getting. He pulled off a bit of a cheeky dive-bomb move here before. He's not going to be able to do that again, though, because Claessen's, unlike Jeff, defends the inside line into the hairpin. Keller is going to have to try and go around the outside. Oh, Claessen's nearly losing the car, and that has actually allowed Keller to slip through. Claessen's almost spun it. He managed to save it, but it dropped him enough time for Keller to slip through on the outside. Actually, oh, and Ratrag has dropped behind Biltis again. For some reason.
Andrex and F-Mate are pretty close as well. Battle for 10th position I'm seeing on the lap timing there, so that could be one to keep an eye on.
Indeed. That's interesting. Ratrag also must have had a mistake, so we'll be trying to get that 8th place back, you'd imagine.
He's almost halved it in the
in
the time that he's got up into 5th position, but oh, Jeff and Biltis? No, they are.
Oh no, they have now. Wait, have they?
No.
Yes, they have now. No, they have. But Jeff has lost it. Jeff is way behind. Jeff is he stuck there? He's stuck. Oh, and he's dropped to Ratrag as well. Ratrag going straight past him through turn 2. Jeff has had a huge nightmare through the first couple of corners with only 2 laps remaining in the race. Oh man, I mean, we already said that Jeff was struggling. He might just be struggling a lot with the tires at the moment. Oh, and I heard another crash. Oh, Jeff is in the wall again. His tires are absolutely gone. Next car behind him, that is F-Mate, I think, coming to take the position from him as well. Jeff's tires have absolutely been ripped to pieces here in the final couple of laps of the race. And now there is a battle for 9th all of a sudden, with Mate right there behind him. So, dramatic end to this race for Jeff, who is just trying to find any grip he can through the chicane here. And Mate, though, looking all over the back of him on the previous lap. F-Mate was only a 10th of a second quicker, but now suddenly on this lap Jeff has had all sorts of problems, and now Mate tried to brake later on the outside into the hairpin. Can he pull this one off? That would be very impressive indeed, and he just about gets his car ahead through the next corner. And there we go, Jeff in the space of 1 lap dropping from 7th place down to 10th. They went into the race with equal points, Nova and Scharf, but they're going to come out of it 4 points apart. And Nova's strong performance today, pole position and the race win, means that he will be 4 points ahead at the top of the championship. By all means, it's far from over. We know that Scharf is super strong as well. He will definitely come back and challenge Nova for more race wins further on in the season. But for today, Nova wins the race here in Catalunya, his 3rd race win of the season, and takes the lead of the championship just about. So next to cross the line will be the man Scharf. He says he's 5th right now. That is just because a few lapped cars have gone across the line after Nova did. But Scharf will be in 2nd place as he now crosses the line. And there we go. Scharf in 2nd. And Godfather shift, though. He was holding 2nd for quite far into this race, ahead of Scharf, but had a little mistake that led him through and wasn't able to keep pace with him quite. But still, a 2nd consecutive podium for Godfather Shift after his teammate, of course. Maybe could have been up there challenging him as well, but Hideaki unfortunately had some issues with his computer. That meant that was not to be for him. Sula will now come across the line in 4th position. And then we have Keller, who was 13th early in the race. He managed to state a very, very strong comeback to finish in P5. And then Claessen's had a quite interesting race as well. Close to Jeff, and then getting a brief battle with Papan or Keller before he pulled away. So Claessen's going to finish in P6. Biltis also had some interesting battles. He's going to be 7th, and that is actually it, because F-mate Jeff, Andrex, Brandrus, Atharion were all lap. Actually, no, Ratrug is still to finish the race. He's had a really slow last lap, I think, because he's just strolling around the final chicane right now. But he will actually finish 8th when he eventually gets to the finish line here. Hello there, Godfather of Shift.
Hello.
Hello. Nice to see you have gotten your mic working finally.
Yeah, it was difficult, but it works.
That is good. And man, the 2nd consecutive race for you on the podium, and you were even holding 2nd for quite far into that race. So how did you feel the race went?
It was very difficult about the tire wear. I had a lot of problems, but finally it works. As Chaff passed me, I just tried to keep it slow and clean, not to spin again, and yeah, it works.
Yeah, good. And speaking of Chaff passing you, we actually didn't catch that on camera, unfortunately. Was that just a mistake from you, or did he genuinely make the move?
Yeah, right. I spinned in the first corner.
Ah, I see.
I love this one.
Hello.
Back in the commentary box again. I mean, we already spoke to you quite lengthily last week, but you had a fantastic comeback drive today, so we thought you deserved to get a little trip back in here again. I think, first of all, tell us what happened at the start of the race.
I'm just discussing with my dear teammate now, and I think it was his fault.
Oh dear.
Because I was in his line, and he was slow off the start or something. And so the whole line in my side was too slow, and then we got passed by 2 of the speed monsters down the straight. So I felt we were 5 wide. I don't know, but it felt like that. And then there was just cars everywhere, and I lost out a little bit. And then I think I got a push in the 1st corner, went to the gravel, and then it was from the back from there.
Wow.
But it was great fun. I felt like I spun 1 million times.
Yeah, definitely noticed a couple.
And I can say for sure that you shouldn't try to overtake over the big sausage curves. They sent me flying twice.
Wow. The bad luck doesn't go away then, it seems.
No. Then you just need to get the fun out of it. And I gotta say that I had a lot of fun today compared to the last race, and I really hoped I could catch Sula in the end. I was taking away the seconds fast, but not enough time.
Yeah, definitely very impressive from the back to 5th. I don't think if you had a driver of the day, despite Max Verstappen existing, I think you might even have snuck into getting that one. So good job, man, and hopefully next week with a bit actually not next week, in 2 weeks with a bit better luck.
Yes, hopefully. Now we are set back a little bit in the team championship as well. I saw with Schaff losing out to Nova, so we need to get the luck on our side for the next one.
Yep, next time. But in 2 weeks we will be heading. Let's see, we will be heading to Zhuhai with a bit of cheeky rain there to start it off as well. It should be an interesting race at Zhuhai, and Charf will be looking to make some ground back on the Nova then in the championship. Nova now with a 4-point gap, still very close at the top. Godfather Shift cementing his 3rd place in the championship over Hideaki, who unfortunately had really bad luck here today. And yeah, some interesting battles going down further down the field as well. So a lot of all the drivers still have a lot of stuff to fight for in the 2nd half of the season, Yorkie. And hopefully we'll have 5 more interesting races as we carry on.
Definitely. So, be certainly interesting one to watch out for those final rounds.
But for today, thanks for watching, and good night.
Good night.